Arsenal Premier League fixtures for 2025-2026 season, match week 1 to 38. Match fixtures for August: Man United vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Leeds United, Liverpool vs Arsenal. Match fixtures for September 2025: Arsenal vs Nottingham Forest, Arsenal vs Manchester City, Newcastle United vs Arsenal. Match fixtures for October 2025: Arsenal vs West Ham United, Fulham vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Crystal Palace. Match fixtures for November 2025: Burnley vs Arsenal, Sunderland vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea vs Arsenal. Match fixtures for December 2025: Arsenal vs Brentford, Aston Villa vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Wolverhampton, Everton vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Brighton, Arsenal vs Aston Villa. Match fixtures for January 2026: Bournemouth vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Liverpool, Nottingham Forest vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Manchester United, Leeds United vs Arsenal. Match fixtures for February 2026: Arsenal vs Sunderland, Brentford vs Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Chelsea. Match fixtures for March 2026: Brighton vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Everton, Wolverhampton Wanderers vs Arsenal. Match fixtures for April 2026: Arsenal vs Bournemouth, Manchester City vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Newcastle United. Match fixtures for May 2026: Arsenal vs Fulham, West Ham United vs Arsenal, Arsenal vs Burnley, and Crystal Palace vs Arsenal.